You believe that children are being abused by pedophiles in Hollywood.
Absolutely.
So why are you sitting down talking to me? Why aren't you sitting down with the police right now?
I've told the police. In fact, if anybody wants to go back to 1993 when I was interviewed by the Santa Barbara Police Department, I sat there and I gave them the names. They're on record. They have all of this information, but they were scanning Michael Jackson. All they cared about was trying to find something on Michael Jackson.
For years, there has been a long-standing conspiracy theory that Hollywood and the elites harvest the blood of young people and transfuse it in order to reverse age. And now the Epstein files might have revealed that that is in fact true.
No, they eat babies. That is not bull. It's true.
So it's not just the dogs and the cats, not just the pets.
It's not just the dogs and the cats. They're full-on vampires. And everybody still thinks I'm crazy.
Epstein is Pizzagate. Let that sink in for a minute. Jeffrey Epstein is Pizzagate. 10 years ago, Pizzagate was by far the #1 trending topic on Twitter. But the claim of elites who preyed on was so insane that Pizzagate was shrugged off as a wild fever dream of a conspiracy theory. I was the first mainstream reporter to dare give the facts surrounding Pizzagate. My corporate career was destroyed over it, so what? My professional reputation was obliterated, that wasn't fun. And I wasn't the only one. Anyone who dared to suggest that this might be true was blacklisted, shadow banned, or thrown off of social media. But then, just days ago, the largest dump of Epstein files revealed what some of us have been telling you for a decade, that Pizzagate is real.
To stop people from wanting to scale the wall to get in his house, because on the other side of that wall is Beyonce, Jay-Z, and every big star you want to know. TD there too, but I don't know if he was busting open. I'm just saying. Because they said that too about the good bishop.
Has been a long-standing conspiracy theory that Hollywood and the elites harvest the blood of young people and transfuse it in order to reverse age. And now the Epstein files might have revealed that that is in fact true. In this email to Jeffrey Epstein, it says, all you need is a blood transfusion from the pack and you reverse aging. This is where adrenochrome comes into play. It is a real chemical compound found in the when the body is in a fight or flight situation. And we know that the kids that were involved in Jeffrey Epstein's network were definitely put into fight or flight. And of course, we've seen Hollywood elites like Chrissy Teigen tweet about how they're going to a party where they're serving up 4-year-old cheese pizza with adrenochrome and of course the eye emoji. And according to the FBI code words, cheese stands for little girl and pizza stands for girl. Now back to the email. The subject is Dr. Agus, a professor of medicine and biomedical engineering at USC, pretty local to Hollywood. He is also the founding director and CEO of the Ellison Medical Institute. You know, the medical institute funded by Larry Ellison, the new owner of TikTok. And he's also hosted a Paramount show with big celebs like Ashton Kutcher and Oprah Winfrey. If you know, you...
The person okayed it, I would eat a human. If you were at a very fancy restaurant and they were like a tiny piece of meat.
No. I think the only way
you wouldn't try a tiny bite?
No.
Really?
Absolutely.
Oprah is a slave trader. Oprah is a slave trader. Let that sink in. It's 100% true. Oprah Winfrey is a slave trader. Why do you think she has that school in South Africa? Why does she hang out with who she hangs out with? Oprah Winfrey is a slave trader.
A lot, and I'm not even gonna say it here because if I did, this internet, Beyonce's good internet, would go crazy. I'm gonna tell them while Johnny puts a beep over this part of the show, so you'll never know what it is, but I want you to see their reactions, and I'm going to do it right now. Military to stop people from wanting to scale the wall to get in his house, because on the other side of that wall is Beyonce, Jay-Z, and every big star you want to know. Was there too, but I don't know if he was busting open. I'm just saying. Because they said that too about the good bishop. This is what I hate about the internet. If you say it is true, if you think it is true, see, you're watching. I know you're watching because you got people calling me. Stop having people call me. You can call me yourself. You know how to get my number. You know, you got people calling me. Call me yourself, because this right here is going to go viral. The way my job works on the internet, everybody's going to be clipping, sharing on TikTok. Watch this. Do your thing, TikTok. Jay-Z and Beyonce is going to see this. I am exhausted with people calling me about Jay-Z and Beyonce. You've never called for anything else, and I haven't even said anything about you yet. And yet I'm getting all...
What happens when a conspiracy that once got people laughed off the internet suddenly collides with newly released court documents, powerful names, and a media figure claiming his life is now in danger? A resurfaced interview and a flood of viral clips are reigniting one of the most explosive conversations Hollywood has ever tried to bury. And this time, people aren't scrolling past it so easily. From long whispered allegations about elite secrecy to fresh claims tied to the Epstein case, the internet is once again asking a dangerous question. Were some of the most powerful people in entertainment protected for far longer than anyone wants to admit? It starts with a clip that refuses to die. A tense interview exchange, resurfaced years later, where one figure calmly claims they warned authorities decades ago, gave names, sat in rooms with law enforcement, and were ignored. The moment feels explosive not because it's new, but because it's familiar. The question asked in the clip is blunt. If something this serious was known back then, why is it still being debated now? That single statement has reignited online arguments that never fully disappeared, pulling millions back into a conversation many thought had been permanently buried. Within hours of the clip circulating again, comment sections lit up, reaction videos followed, and suddenly an old controversy had a very new audience. What makes this moment different isn't just the clip, it's the timing. For years, certain allegations about Hollywood elites were dismissed, mocked, or labeled too extreme to entertain. Entire platforms banned discussion of them. Careers were reportedly damaged simply for bringing them up. But now, with renewed attention on powerful networks and accountability, people online are revisiting questions they were once told not to ask. Not because answers have suddenly appeared, but because the cultural climate has shifted. Audiences are more skeptical of institutions, more aware of how often powerful people avoid consequences, and less willing to accept that's just a conspiracy as a full explanation. The controversy didn't change. The willingness to re-examine it did. Then came the documents. Court filings, unsealed records, and previously unseen materials tied to the Epstein case became public, and while many of the details were already known to legal observers, their release into the mainstream sparked a very different reaction. Names appeared, not as convictions, but as associations, mentions, third-party references, and that distinction was quickly lost online. To some viewers, the documents felt like confirmation. To others, they raised more questions than answers. Who knew what and when? Why were certain relationships scrutinized while others weren't? The lack of clear conclusions created a vacuum, and speculation rushed in to fill it. Ambiguity became the fuel, and the Epstein case once again became the center of a much larger narrative about power, secrecy, and protection. As always, social media poured gasoline on the moment. Influencers stitched clips together. Bloggers resurfaced decade-old tweets and interviews, and commentary channels began connecting dots in real time. Context collapsed under the weight of virality. Jokes were reframed as confessions. Old footage was reinterpreted through a darker lens. Every pause, every laugh, every offhand comment became evidence to someone. Algorithms rewarded the most shocking interpretations, not the most careful ones. And once a narrative gained traction, it spread faster than fact checks ever could. What mattered wasn't accuracy, it was engagement. And engagement was exploding. Soon, familiar names were pulled into the conversation, not one by one, but in clusters. Politicians, musicians, billionaires, media moguls, grouped together by proximity, rumor, or shared headlines rather than proven connections. The effect was overwhelming by design. Viewers weren't meant to analyze each case individually. They were meant to feel like something massive was being uncovered all at once. Each name escalated the intrigue. Each reaction clip added urgency. and each denial only fueled further speculation. The story stopped being about any single person and became about a system, at least in the eyes of the internet. And once a story reaches that stage, it no longer belongs to facts alone. It belongs to fear, suspicion, and the unanswered question everyone keeps coming back to. What if there's more we still don't know? Just when the conversation was already reaching a boiling point, a new layer dropped. The appearance of a media personality claiming they'd gone too far, seen too much, and were now paying the price for saying it out loud. According to them, the moment certain names were mentioned and certain questions asked, the tone changed. Calls allegedly started coming in. Warnings were implied, not explicit. And suddenly, the story wasn't just about documents or old interviews anymore. It was about safety. This is the part of the narrative that always grips audiences hardest, the truth teller under pressure. Whether people believe the claims or not, the fear feels real. The urgency feels real. And the uncertainty is impossible to ignore. Viewers are left asking the same thing every time this storyline appears. If none of this is true, why does it feel like someone wants it to stop? From there, the internet does what it always does, it decides. Comment sections fill up faster than courtrooms ever could. Reaction videos multiply overnight, and fan theories begin stacking on top of one another until separating fact from interpretation becomes nearly impossible. Screenshots are treated like receipts. Silence is treated like guilt. Denials are treated like strategy. Every move, or lack of one, becomes part of the case being built in real time by strangers who will never meet the people they're judging. The emotional pull is powerful. Outrage, fear, betrayal, validation, all colliding at once. And the faster the conversation moves, the less space there is for nuance. By the time anyone attempts to slow it down, the narrative has already hardened into belief for some and total dismissal for others. And that's exactly why this controversy refuses to disappear. It sits at the intersection of everything people already distrust: extreme wealth, celebrity influence, sealed records, delayed justice, and a long history of powerful figures avoiding consequences. Even without definitive answers, the questions alone are enough to keep it alive. As long as there are documents still being interpreted, clips still being resurfaced, and voices claiming they're being pressured into silence, the story remains unresolved. This isn't just about celebrities anymore. It's about who gets believed, who gets protected, and who gets ignored. And until those questions are settled in a way people can trust, the internet isn't done watching, debating, or digging. So the real question becomes, is this just another viral storm that fades, or the beginning of a reckoning people won't let go of?